As we are now approaching the end of the 2025 theme park season, now feels as good a time as any to discuss my top 25 roller coasters. As of making this video, I've ridden over 300 roller coasters within the UK, mainland Europe and the US. This year I've ridden 60 new credits in the US and mainland Europe. Since last year's video there's been several new entries into this list. There's also been some coasters that have moved up and down this list due to re-rides. All of the coasters featured in this list are my favourites, so of course this ranking will likely differ from your own. So without further ado, here's my current list for my favourite 25 roller coasters. Number 25, Maverick at Cedar Point. While my first ride was admittedly underwhelming, a later front row night ride gave the intense experience that I was hoping for. While it's not quite as dynamic as newer coasters on this list, Maverick has plenty of variety and is a jack of all trades. 24, Silver Star at Europa Park. The first and definitely not the last German coaster you'll see on this list, Silver Star is a solid B&M hyper, which not only provides some awesome sustained floater airtime, but also has a couple of surprising ejector airtime moments thrown in. It's a must do every time at Europa Park. Luckily the wait is never long due to the unbelievably fast operations. 23, Woden Timber Coaster at Europa Park. To this day I can't think of many coasters that match the insane balls to the wall pacing of this GCI giant. It starts out crazy and somehow manages to feel even more out of control as it goes on. While it does throw you about a bit, it's never too rough and it's a perfect amount of jostle I would want from a wooden roller coaster. 22, Hyperia at Thorpe Park. This Mack Hypercoaster is a much needed addition to Thorpe Park. The inversions are the highlight for me, particularly the stall, which I think this might be the best one that I have done. The airtime is potent and sustained but delivers more towards the floater area. It's great to finally see a more airtime focused coaster here in the UK. 21, Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland. Easily one of the most unique roller coasters that I've ever ridden is Plopsaland's Ride to Happiness. This Mack Extreme Spinner has several standout moments such as the JoJo roll, top hat, banana roll and flying snake dive, all of which are taken while you are spinning. The best rides I got on this were on the back row, mainly due to the insane amount of airtime I got from the drop off the top hat. It would be higher on this list if all my rides were consistent and if it rode smoother. 20, Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point. Technically speaking, I've been on the world's tallest roller coaster, which is weird to think about even now as I'm saying it. Fortunately for me it was operating, and wow, what an incredible ride this is. While the acceleration on the first launch might not be that strong, the ride makes up for it for its swing launch. Launching backwards at over 100 miles an hour is quite the experience, then launching again at 120 miles an hour, shooting over a 420 foot top hat is just completely out of this world. The airtime off the top hat is absolutely insane and the lateral force you get as you spin round the drop is absolutely incredible. 19, Candemonium at Hershey Park. This ride surprised the hell out of me. The first half had fantastic strong and sustained floater airtime. The second half, while not quite as strong, keeps a quick pace and has some solid floater airtime hills. Shame I only rode it once, but the back row ride I had was epic. 18, Wildcat's Revenge at Hershey Park. Wildcat's Revenge delivered on all the RMC touchstones that you expect, from moments of ejector airtime, hang time on the stall, and sideways airtime. Wildcat's Revenge does everything that you would expect. While there are other RMC coasters that I generally prefer over this one, it's still a standout ride. 17, Batman Gotham City Escape at Parque Warner Madrid. Batman to me in many ways feels like a modern day version of Maverick, and thanks to the new Intamin restraints you're free to feel all the forces. There's some strong moments of ejector airtime. The Zero G stall has the best moment of hang time I have ever experienced. There are also small moments that also really deliver. 16, Taron at Phantasialand. The detailed and immersive theming is paramount to Taron's appeal. The way the train seamlessly carves through the rockwork and recklessly whips through the medieval buildings makes it feel like an immersive video game come to life. While it might not have some of the big wow elements of coasters that I personally rank ahead of it, Taron is definitely an elite coaster in my book. 15, Millennium Force at Cedar Point. My first ride was on the back row and that first drop alone was incredible. It had strong sustained floater airtime similar to Shambhala. The overbank turn in the following tunnel provided some positive G-force. While not rip your face off intense, it was still noticeable. Admittedly the airtime throughout the rest of the ride is weaker than other Intamin mega coasters, but it's still there even if it's mild. To me the absence of strong airtime was made up by the pure unadulterated sense of speed. 14, Shambhala at Portaventura Park. Still considered the king of B&M hypercoasters, Shambhala is everything that you could want from a traditional hypercoaster. The huge camelback hills produce some of the best and most sustained flow to air time that I've ever experienced. It's a brilliant location from the back of the park. From most vantage points it is the backdrop to the park's awesome skyline. Both the front and back row offer equally exceptional rides, which makes Shambhala addictively re-rideable. 13. Voltron at Europa Park. Featuring fierce pacing and even whippier transitions, Voltron is not a ride for the faint of heart. Elements such as the Zero G stall and the first airtime hill are fantastic, but what really takes the cake is the outer airtime hill, which is probably the most aggressive of any of the ones I've experienced. Voltron also has fantastic theming to boot, and thanks to the incredible operations you can see multiple trains running at the same time. Voltron is probably one of the longest roller coasters I've been on, at least in terms of element by element basis. Every single element hits, and while there are better versions on other rides that I can think of, it's still impressive that Voltron manages to pack all these elements into one single ride. All in all, a well-rounded experience which feels much more complete with a 3 minutes worth of ride time. It's no doubt a great coaster and all the elements delivered. 12. El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. Intamin are the kings of making sustained ejector hills. Nobody does it better than them, and El Toro is no exception to that. The first drop and following airtime hill was wild, as was the Rolling Thunder hill. Unfortunately it wasn't the smoothest and the valleys were undeniably rough. However, I can overlook this somewhat as the airtime and pacing is so good. I will admit that if the ride was smoother it would have ranked higher, however still, El Toro is definitely top 20 worthy in my opinion. 11. Wildfire at Kolmarden Wildlife Park. The rather secluded location of Kolmarden makes Wildfire one of the most scenic coasters out there. This coaster isn't just here for the views. Wildfire is a sensational coaster which delivers on all the RMC touchstones that you expect, from the aggressive airtime to whippy inversions. Wildfire is a memorable experience from start to finish. 10. Skyrush at Hershey Park. My first ride was on the back row, and yep, this thing delivered on my unreasonable expectations. No doubt the first drop is one of the best in the world. Not only did the steep angle of descent throw me out of my seat, but there is also a kink in the profiling which springboarded me out even further. The rest of the layout features Flowjector airtime hills and intense low to the ground turns. Admittedly it does weaken out towards the end, but the first few elements are that strong that I don't care. 9. Conda at Walibi Belgium. This new gen Intamin Mega Coaster is one of the most fun and re-rideable coasters there is. While the first drop is great in the back, Conda is definitely a front row ride for me, especially over the first airtime hill and the outer bank. The first 3 elements are stunning, and the small but aggressive bunny hops at the end really give this ride a lot of character. 8. Schwerdis Kahnen at Hansa Park. Perhaps the only coaster I've been on which actually scared me each and every time I went on it, and on the 2 days I went I did 12 rides on this beast and the fear was still there. Of course I won't spoil it, although I bet most of you already know what I'm talking about. This ride just keeps on giving. It has a fantastic mixture of elements which range from strong intensity to ejector airtime moments, not to mention the incredible theming in the queue line. 7. Tutatis at Parc Asterix. I had high expectations and it delivered in every way. This ride has everything I would want out of a modern launch coaster, featuring plenty of fantastic elements. It's very re-rideable. No matter where you're sat on the ride, it still gives a fantastic ride, but my favourite ride's towards the back of the train. The ride has some incredible theming to boot, which is not unlike the other rides at Parc Asterix. 6. Untamed at Walibi Holland. Untamed is everything that I expect when I hear the word RMC. It's such an insane ride that just made me laugh through the entire layout. Easily one of RMC's most bizarre and zany designs. In my opinion, Untamed is easily the best ride in Europe for ejector airtime. 5. Zadra at Energylandia. Zadra was my first RMC and despite all the hype it didn't disappoint. Its dominating 206 foot first drop made quite the first impression. The first drop, the Zero G stall, the outward bank, airtime hill and final inversion all made for a perfect coaster. The way the elements are all sequenced together married with the ride's ferocious pacing, it's easy to see why this is one of the world's most beloved roller coasters. 4. Tiger at Linnanmäki. On first impressions alone I already knew it was going to be a top 10 contender. Every element just hits, even the elements I wasn't expecting much from surprised me. The standout moments such as the Zero G winder are nothing like what I've experienced before. Tiger never lets up and has some of the best pacing and sequencing I've ever seen. 3. Helix at Leesburg. Helix became my number 1 roller coaster when I rode it back in 2017. It kept onto that title for several years. Before I first rode Helix, I had middling expectations of it, expecting it to feel like kind of a Blue Fire meets Cheetah Hunt, but it was so much better than that. Helix is the ultimate coaster for variety, from airtime moments to positive Gs to inversions. This coaster has so many elements it's hard to pick a favourite, but going over that second airtime hill with the awesome view of Gothenburg makes it one of the best experiences on a coaster that you can have. 2. Hyperion at Ninjalandia. Somewhat an underdog in the conversation of world's best coasters, Hyperion has without a doubt some of the most powerful airtime that I've ever experienced. Not just from the force but from how sustained it is. While other coasters like Hyperia and Kana also have incredible first drops, the sheer size of Hyperion and the steepness make it one of my favourites. The steep angle descents give you several seconds of ejector airtime, as does the second and third hills within the first half of the ride. While the second half isn't as intense in terms of ejector airtime, there's still a brilliant sense of speed thanks to low to the ground elements. Hyperion is a coaster that definitely deserves to be talked about more. 1. Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. After having 7 rides during my 3 days at Cedar Point, I can no longer deny that Steel Vengeance is my favourite roller coaster that I've ever ridden. It has airtime, airtime and airtime. It has incredible pacing, it's a long ride with whippy inversions. You even get a free souvenir, shin bruises, what's not to love. And during a night ride, with all that in the cloak of darkness, I couldn't keep up with what direction my body was being thrown in. There hasn't been any other coaster I've been on that has kept up the intensity like this. Steel Vengeance is a ride that demands your attention from the second you board to the moment you hit the brakes, and that's why it's my new favourite. So there you have it, that's my top 25 of 2025. This year I've got to experience more new credits than ever before, and most of them being landmark rides that I wanted to ride ever since becoming an enthusiast. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and please let me know what your top 25 is, I'd be interested to know. Thanks for watching.